In tonight's Big Story Breakdown, we are digging into school settlements. Kingfisher Public Schools taking drastic action to address an almost $2 million budget shortfall comes on the heels of a $5 million settlement.
Fox 25's Tom Ferguson was there as this unfolded. Is live in Kingfisher tonight. Tom, what's on the chopping block?
Adam and Wendy, just hours ago, the board here approved 18 resignations. Those make up most of the total 21 positions being eliminated. The junior high soccer program is also being suspended.
Call the meeting to order.
It is really hard on your district, especially in today's climate of teacher shortages.
This follows a $5 million settlement the district approved in December 2023. A former student and his parents claimed abuse and hazing at the hands of football coaching staff. Here you're seeing what court records describe as the ring, a form of organized fighting. According to the interim superintendent, county officials modified the district's funding structure in response to the settlement.
It was to balance out the taxes within the district so that the taxpayers weren't being unfairly treated over this settlement.
Officials realized they needed to take steps this month to balance the books amid a reduction in revenue going to the general fund, which pays teacher salaries, and a bump to the sinking fund to pay judgments. The interim superintendent said salary reductions were the only option at this point in the year. The district will lose almost 9% of its total staff.
Whenever we were doing this, it was like, okay, what do we have to do next?
According to the interim superintendent, the high school and junior high school schedules will see changes, as will elementary PE assignments. He added the district doesn't anticipate any further changes, but hopes to recoup some of the positions in the future.
I make a motion we adjourn.
One employee remains on the payroll, the coach at the center of the hazing claims, Jeff Myers. Andy Evans told Fox 25 he is on administrative leave pending court proceedings. The father of the student involved in the case told us, quote, had the school board conducted a proper investigation and taken the appropriate action of terminating Jeff Myers back in 2021, the school would not be in the financial position that it is in today. And Evans said another factor at play here was spending too much money last year. The teachers who resigned will continue serving until December 20th. Then the schedule changes will take effect after students get back to class at the end of break in the upcoming new year. Live in Kingfisher, Tom Ferguson, Fox 25 News.
Another big settlement announced this year. Back in August, Ninnekah Public Schools agreed to pay $7.5 million to resolve a lawsuit. In 2021, 14 Jane Does who accused former girls basketball coach Ronald Akins of grooming and sexual assault, and 4 former officials, including the former superintendent and former principal, ignoring their complaints. However, the 4 officials were dismissed from the lawsuit as part of the settlement. Now, in September, a U.S. district judge ordered the district to pay out $1.5 million within 30 days of the order being filed, and $6 million out of the district's sinking funds over 3 years. Now, in a statement, the school district denied any liability of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, but said it has a duty to its students, employees, and taxpayers to act as a good steward of the public funds it oversees.
Salina Public Schools agreed to pay over $2.6 million to settle a lawsuit. According to court documents, the district and middle school teacher John Horner were sued after Horner was accused of sexual harassment, molestation, and sexual assault. In the lawsuit, 15 former students claim the district allowed Horner access to children for years, despite receiving complaints as early as 2014. The suit also accuses the school district of specifically telling students not to discuss the issue with their parents. According to the settlement agreement filed earlier this year, the district agreed to pay a one-time lump sum payment of $1 million by no later than April 25th of this year. The other $1.6 million will be paid out of the school district's sinking fund over 3 years with interest in compliance with Oklahoma law. We're also watching to see if a settlement agreement will be offered in a Shawnee case that is unfolding right now. Last year, a student sued the school district and district employee Ron Arthur in federal court. The suit claimed Shawnee Public Schools failed to provide its students with an environment free of sexual predators. The lawsuit alleges the first reports of sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, and assault were brought to the district's attention in 2007. The most recent complaint was in 2021. Arthur resigned that same year. Right now, this case is still making its way through the court system. The most recent update we found was that several subpoenas had been sent out in October. We will continue to bring you updates as this case plays out.
We've also been digging into where the criminal cases tied to these settlements currently stand. Let's start with Ron Arthur from Shawnee. Records show currently serving a 5-year sentence at the Jim Hamilton Correctional Center, convicted in November of 2023 for soliciting sexual contact with a minor. That conviction tied to a complaint made against him in 2021. He was originally charged with rape and forcible oral sodomy in this case. Those charges were later dropped. The Salina teacher, John Horner, charged in 2020 in connection with allegations made between October of 2018, March of 2019, originally pled not guilty to all 6 counts, but pled no contest to 9 counts of lewd molestation last year. He was sentenced to 14 days in jail to be served on weekends, along with the 7-year suspended sentence he's currently serving. The former Ninica girls basketball coach, Ronald Akins, charged with multiple crimes, including 3 counts of sexual battery and 4 counts of lewd acts. He pled guilty to all 10 charges brought against him and was sentenced to 40 years, 15 to be served in prison, 25-year probation. Will also be required to register as a sex offender when he's released from Great Plains Correctional. As for the Kingfisher case, former coach Jeff Myers charged with felony child neglect in 2023, but a judge ruled back in June that case could not move forward due to a lack of evidence. The court determined the state couldn't prove Myers' actions were malicious or willful.
A former lawmaker says Oklahoma lacks resources when it comes to helping students affected by a situation at school. Fox 25's David Chasanoff spoke with the CEO of the Institute for Child Advocacy. David, what does he mean by that?
Wendy, Joe Dorman says Oklahoma needs more counselors in schools, something he says could help save a life.
The resources are not as good as we would hope. We still have so many students that are falling through the cracks. The resources are not readily available in schools. They're not advertised the way they should be.
Joe Dorman with the Oklahoma Institute for Child Advocacy says this is a situation that needs to be taken seriously, considering what some schools are dealing with.
We're seeing so many issues develop of late with schools where children are threatened or they've been abused in some form or fashion with the school. These counselors need to be out there and be involved in the lives of kids.
Joe Dorman tells me the ratio in Oklahoma is 361 students per counselor, whereas the national average is 250 to 1.
We're about middle of the road when it comes to the states with the number of counselors available to students.
No matter how the numbers may look,
a tube slide!
Dorman says parents should always check in with their kids to see how they're doing.
Have these tough conversations with your kids and find out what's going on in their lives. Keep that dialogue open.
No matter how things are going, Dorman says there is currently a successful DHS program in Oklahoma schools where employees are actually in there just to check in with students, make sure things are okay. Reporting live in Oklahoma City, David Chasanoff, Fox 25 News.
And that was your big story breakdown tonight. You can learn more about the Kingfisher budget shortfall and all those school settlements on OKCFox.com.
Plus, you check out our previous big story breakdowns on our YouTube page. Just search OKC Fox.